Hello, hello, my lovely friends, and welcome back to the channel. The channel. I've already tried to start this thing a few times, so I've just sort of decided that I'm gonna go with the flow here and hope for the best. Anyhow, today I would like to do a video with you about using some rubber stamps and having some fun with creating our own labels by using these blank printouts. So last weekend I was, as I like to do on Sunday evenings, sitting on the couch with the girls, looking through junk journaling videos and being inspired and getting ideas from other amazing women here on YouTube who do some really great stuff. And I came across a British gal, and her channel is called Artie Mays, and I will link that, of course, below. And I found her because she had some videos where she did some amazing collage work, and I was like, whoa, very impressed. And so, of course, I check out her Etsy store, and she has a ton of gorgeous printables. So then I went back and I was looking through her whole channel, and she had this one video called Stamping Up, or What I Do with Blank Labels. And of course I love labels and I love numbers, and I have a ton of rubber stamps that have numbers on them. So I was like, ooh, let's see what she does. So it turns out she had these blanks for sale in her Etsy shop, and I went and purchased these files from her, and I decided that it might be kind of fun to do a video with you guys doing what she did in her video, which was using her rubber stamps to create these amazing labels to use in her journal and collage work, wherever you want to use them, right? So I have to say, this turned out to be a lot more fun than I anticipated, and for several interesting reasons. One of the things that I think that we all have in common, or at least a lot of us do, is that we love to buy supplies, but then we don't always use the supplies that we have, right? Like, so... Okay, show of hands. Who's guilty? Yeah, sometimes I find that the thrill of the hunt for the craft supply is just as much fun as using the craft supply itself. And you can take a look around. Like it's on full display. I like to buy a lot of craft supplies. And I don't want to say that I'm intimidated by them. Some of them I am. I have to admit, some of the artsy supplies, like the paints and the sprays, some of those things I shy away from because I'm afraid that I'm going to use them incorrectly, which is a whole other video, right? But this was fun because it was mostly about the idea of just not overthinking and just getting out the stamps, and I mean getting out all the stamps, and just having a really great time, just stamping away without having to put things in a proper order or having any rules. I mean, this is literally like coloring outside the lines. So I thought it would be something that I would share with you because I'm hoping that it will inspire you to do the same kind of thing, and allow you to feel that sense of freedom that I felt while I was doing this. I also did some labels with the same technique as well, and these turned out really great. I had a lot of fun. So it definitely has inspired me not only to do the labels and the tags, but I was thinking, wow, this is something I could do at some point as a journal page or a journal envelope. Like, the possibilities here are absolutely endless. So thank you to Artie Mays for the inspiration on so many levels. I really had a fun Sunday night watching all of her videos and getting to know her and what she does, and yeah, her work is brilliant. I highly recommend that you check out her channel. yeah, I hope you will enjoy it. So let's turn the camera around and get stamping. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so before I put my phone up on the overhead doohickey above me, here's just a little bit of a closer look at what I did. So I really liked watching her and how she did this sort of thing where she stamped just way off, like, and used the big stamps, the bigger stamps, and stamped in between. It really creates a fantastic effect. So we're going to do that together. So she has this page has the antique like coffee stained there in the back, and then this one here is white, just white on white. I don't have a preference, I have to say. I like them both equally. And then this is the one with the bigger ones. Like, it probably wouldn't really have occurred to me to use, the floral ones. But I watched her, she has the same. These are Tim Holtz. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank of the set. But I will put it in the thing below. Yeah, so much fun. So, okay, I'm going to do one sheet. I'm going to put the phone up overhead, and I've got my stamps here. I got the bigger stamps there. I've got my drawer of Tim Holtz stamps here. Okay, so here we go. I have got all of my little bits and bobs of pieces, like the little teeny tiny stamps out. And I got my acrylic blocks here. And I've decided to keep things super simple and just use black. And so I don't want to say you see, I'm hesitating a little bit. Oh, don't make a mistake, don't make a mistake. And I thought it would be sort of a good time to talk about why I do struggle so much with this idea of making mistakes, which it's certainly nothing that's, unique to me. We all don't like to make mistakes. We don't like to feel the sort of shame or embarrassment that comes with making mistakes. But I was a fashion design graduate, and I'd spent the majority of my adult life, up until recently, being a seamstress. And everything in that world was built on perfection, right? The way you sewed. I mean, my very survival in fashion school depended on doing everything perfectly and not making mistakes, because then A, you couldn't graduate, and B, you just wouldn't be a very good seamstress or dressmaker or fashion designer or whatever it was that you wanted to make, or to be, rather. And so I had spent years and years and years training myself in absolute perfection. And I went on to have my own store for a few years, my own brick and mortar store. And I felt that the way that I could be competitive and I could attract people to my store and to my line of clothing was by being as perfect in my construction and in my fit and in my pattern making and all of that as humanly possible, right? So this is coming along quite nicely here, I have to say. You can see that I'm really starting to get into the flow of things. I'm not super duper too concerned that things go in the right place. At this point, I really start to feel like this is... it really is a lot of fun, and it really is like coloring outside the lines. And I have to say, I really, really enjoyed the idea of not stamping or stamping in an irregular way, right? Because the impulse is to make the stamp fit perfectly in the square or in the circle or the rectangle. And so it really sort of takes on a life of its own when I realized just how freeing and liberating it is to just randomly stamp away, and there's no consequence if you quote unquote make a mistake. So yeah, so once I quit the fashion business and I turned to paper and card making and journals, I found that making mistakes and doing things in an irregular fashion was extremely difficult. I really, really, really struggled because it was so ingrained into me to make everything perfect, because nobody would want to buy a skirt from me or a dress if the hem was uneven or the stitching wasn't perfect, or, any of those things. And it's not, of course, this isn't just limited to me. This is about all of us that, learn a skill that you want to get really, really good at. There's a certain amount of perfection that is involved, right? So this exercise for me in creating these labels just lit up something inside of me that spoke to me in a way that I hadn't really felt in a long time, which was like, just play. I realized that I spend a lot of time making things, I spend a lot of time creating things, but I don't really allow myself a certain amount of time to just play and not worry about the consequences. Oh yeah, see, there's a little I'm like, oh, hang on, one empty spot, gotta fill it. It's so much better. Yeah, this I hope that you will give this a try, because it really, really was so much fun. I can't state enough how much I really enjoyed doing this. So then I decided, let's do the tags. And I was going to use some of my other stamps that are a little bit bigger. And that I had done the night before, and I absolutely loved how it turned out. So yeah, here I am. I'm just going crazy by stamping in the middle. It really was, I have to admit, I enjoyed this much more than I thought I would. And like I said in the beginning, I can get somewhat intimidated by a lot of the tools and the supplies that are out there, because they're just not things that I've played with. And I feel that I hold myself back, because I'm like, oh, you don't know what you're doing, and you certainly couldn't make a video about using supplies when you don't really know what you're doing. And I had decided when I first went ahead to do this channel that what I wanted to do was, I didn't want to make a channel about making mistakes, but I wanted to make a channel that really embraced the idea that the idea of the process of journaling and playing with all these supplies is to have fun and to really just lose yourself in the process and go with the mystery of what is going to come afterwards, right? Like, we don't have to know exactly what it's going to look like all the time. Part of the appeal is not knowing and allowing the process to unfold and to surprise ourselves, right? A little bit. And, I think about this a lot. It took me a long, long, long time to become a really good seamstress and to become really good at sewing and making quote unquote perfect items, that I couldn't just take that need for perfect and just undo it and lose it overnight. And so this whole idea that I can do these things and make things in my journal and create supplies and collage and all these sorts of things, it's going to take time for me to get used to the fact that I don't have to have all the answers. Anyhow, I'm talking about the fact that you don't have to cut them into tags. You can just cut the sheet in half and maybe use it as a half page in your journal, and then journal on the back and use the back for hidden journaling, or create a pocket or an envelope. So yeah, I got them all cut up. I have to say, I was really thrilled to bits with the finished product. The randomness of the stamping turned out to be so much fun. And I'm gonna do a lot of this, but in different ways, in different forms. Like, I thought it would be fun too. You could use different colored, obviously, stamps. They don't all have to be black. These tags just, I was so impressed with how these tags turned out. I just love the collage look of them, and the random. There we go again. The randomness is a lot of fun too. So yeah, I'm just gonna put a little piece of baker's twine in there, and yeah, there you have it. So thanks a lot for watching. I really had a lot of fun making this video. I hope it will inspire you to do the same and to try and enjoy the process of coloring outside of the lines, if you will, and having some fun making some tags and labels for your journal. Take care, everybody. Bye.